What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Split Decisions. I'm Patrick,
And I'm Justin.
and we're here to break down UFC Fight Night Edmonton. Brandon Moreno versus Amir Albazi. Pretty decent Fight Night card coming off of UFC 308. Banger card.
Good card overall.
What you think about that Renat Fakardina robbery, though?
That honestly was crazy. I work midnights, so I woke up and was still half asleep listening to the fight. And the whole time I just heard the commentary, dick riding, oh boy.
No.
So I was like, oh, Renat's, losing this fight. And then I heard the decision being read. I was like, oh, shit.
I ain't gonna lie. Somebody had them judges in their pockets, man. Somebody was dropping some bread on them judges, man.
Yeah. We had Hamzat submitting Rob first round. He went out there. He's really that.
Broke that man's teeth.
Broke his teeth and all that.
Everybody was wondering,
his jaw. What Hamzat was going to look like against somebody like Rob and the 5 rounds and can he last? And he showed he didn't even need half a round. This man went out there, had that takedown within, 20 seconds?
Facts. That Rebecca Orbach fight.
Banger.
Stupid banger. Fight of the night. Orbach show, you going to have to kill that man.
Dude, his whole eye was just completely swollen shut. It wasn't a broken orbital, though, according to Dana.
A couple fluke injuries, that RDA.
Busted knee.
Busted up knee. And Chris Barnett was a little bit flukish, too.
They said that, I didn't see it in the beginning, but they said he jumped
up and fucked up his knee, kind of like on some Brian Ortega shit before that Yair fight. Lerone Murphy, Dan Ige, super close fight. Probably could have won either way. I don't know what I don't know if Ankalaev deserves a title shot after that.
That fight was literally putting us to sleep, me and my cousin Ron. But then, I don't know. He didn't shoot a takedown. I feel like he was trying to make it to prove a point that he won't. But like I was talking to him about, the minute he starts getting ate up with those leg kicks, he's throwing that whole no takedown shit out the window, and he's going to be shooting on Alex.
Absolutely. Prayer is going to eat them legs up.
Because even Rakic was tearing his legs up. But, he just kind of, Magomed was doing good at keeping range and movement, so he couldn't.
And Rakic won that first round on every single card.
Yeah, put it on him.
Main event, man, Ilia Topuria, bro.
Did the unthinkable.
He is really, he's really him. I mean, I thought Max Holloway had a chance, but, hey.
Ilia is that guy. And, we were talking about before we started the podcast, when it comes to beating Ilia, it's going to have to be somebody with power and somebody that can stuff a takedown in case he goes there. Because we saw him powerball Max in that first too.
Like you said before we record, it's going to be somebody who's ready to meet that fire with fire.
Yeah. Yeah, somebody.
Because he's done showed you can't just point fight against this man. He's gonna walk you down. He's gonna find that motherfucking shot.
And it doesn't matter when. It could be the first. It could be the third. I mean, hell, even in that 5th round of the Josh Emmett fight, he dropped him in the 5th. Power still carried into the 5th. So
facts.
It is scary.
Super close on the split decisions. But Justin did have my number
just a little bit.
Yeah, he got me 3-2. He had Sharon Magomedov at -192. That spinning back. Hey, we don't forgot to mention that double spinning back fist.
Double spinning back fist was insane.
Can't do nothing but respect it, man.
He said after the fight too, that's his. He said nobody else better use it. He didn't even want to use it because he didn't want people to know about it. But now he's got it. I feel like he kind of winged it on the spot, and now he's trying to act like he'd been had it. But
no, actually, they showed him before the fight training it. They showed him at the
I apologize.
The media day, like the workouts and shit. Yeah. He was
doing
he was drilling it. He was drilling it, bro. So he was not joking about that. He had Topuria at -280, which, man, hey, I thought Max was good at dog money, but
it was a good dog to play on.
It must have been a trick from Vegas, man. They wanted to hang that dog money on.
They were trying to collect it.
They trying to collect that Max
chin,
money,
man. It worries me about Max in the future. I don't mean to keep straying off, but now that his chin's cracked, it's going to be easier to crack it in the future.
I think he'll come back though. We'll see him with another good performance. Ibo Aslan at -122 came out and made quick work of the debut. Abus Magomedov and Bruno Ferreira. I did have Abus. Solid fight, honestly, back and forth, but ended up finding that submission late in the 3rd. And then Lerone Murphy, obviously, against Dan Ige, which Dan Ige showed exactly why you said he is a dog. Yeah. And anytime you got Dan Ige with some dog money beside him, it's never going to be a bad take.
I feel like it was 1-1 going into that 3rd, and had Dan not given up that where Lerone shot on him, I'm pretty sure, and just he couldn't get up, You know, he
I
gave
think
up
if
that
he would have did
control.
more damage while he was on top,
Oh yeah,
then he would, because
yeah,
he had him down for
he
about
did.
2 minutes. And he didn't do nothing
was
with it.
just holding him.
So by the time Lerone got up, he kind of whatever he put on him was gonna win him the round.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall solid card, man. Sucks we gotta go from a pay-per-view to a Canadian fight night card. Yeah. But hey man, any fight's better than no fights.
Yeah,
yeah, let's get into that first fight of UFC Edmonton.
So the first fight, we got Jack Shore and Youssef Zalal. Jack Shore is 6-2 in the UFC. He's a stocky featherweight with basic boxing, but good wrestling and submissions. His 2 losses in the UFC are to good fighters. Ricky Simon, who was just more experienced at the time, who had the wrestling that could counter Jack Shore's wrestling. It was just a bad matchup for him. And then Joe Anderson Brito, which was a doctor stoppage from leg kicks. Joe Anderson Brito had kicked a huge hole in that man's leg to the point where the doctor was like touching bone, sticking his finger in there. So they had to stop that. But he was getting his ass whooped before the doctor stopped it anyways. He's going against Youssef Zalal, who is 5-3 in the UFC. Since he got cut back in 2022, since coming back, he is 2-0. He has a kickboxing base, but is a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. He has powerful kicks, big power in his hands, and he's just as strong on the ground too. He can push a good pace and is always looking for a finish. So this fight is going to be easy for me to pick, but that doesn't mean that it's a lock, because Jack Shore can very well use his size, get a takedown, hold Zalal on the ground with that top control, or kind of pin him against the fence and hold him. But I'm going to go with Youssef Zalal in this. I think he just has more abilities to win. I think he can, if he does go to the ground, I feel like he could probably scramble and hold his own. So give me Youssef Zalal. I'm going to say by knockout, because I think he could catch Jack Shore. But if not, give me a decision. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to be on the same side, man. Honestly, I like Jack Shore. I think he's a good wrestler. Decent striking. He'll walk forward and put a pace on people, but Youssef Zalal just super good at range, super long.
Mixes it up well.
Yeah, good kicks. Dangerous subs as well. You take him to the ground. We could potentially see Jack Shore throw himself into a guillotine or something.
Shooting a sloppy takedown.
I think if it's on the feet, Zalal is going to style on this dude and win every minute this is on the feet. And if it goes to the ground, he's definitely capable of getting up or potentially putting Jack in some dangerous situations. So, yeah, I'm going to go Youssef Zalal. I'm going to call Youssef Zalal by submission.
There you go. I can see it.
In the second fight, we got Jamie Lynn Horth, 1-1 in the UFC versus Ivana Petrovic. Pretty binary matchup. Petrovic super grappling heavy. She gonna want to get some grappling going. She got a good sub bag. Jamie Lynn Horth, I feel like is gonna be the better striker. Yeah. She's gonna be the better kickboxer. She's big for the weight class. Super big girl. She's thick, physical as hell. Got power in her strikes. Good takedown defense and good get up game. And I do think that's the reason she's a favorite in this. I think if she does get taken down, she can get it back to the feet where she's gonna hold the advantage. And I'm just gonna take her to win. Probably a boring decision. What you think?
Yeah, I pretty much agree with everything Pat said. Both these girls are 1-1 in the UFC. What's her face? Jamie lost a decision. She lost a split decision in her fight with Veronica Hardy. But she does have 3 KOs, 2 subs, and 1 decision win. But, she's pretty boring as a fighter, if we're being honest here. And same on the other side, really. Ivana lost a decision in her debut, but bounced back with a arm triangle in the 3rd round. She's got 3 KOs, 3 subs, and a decision. Also pretty boring, but she's boring on the ground with it. So, really picking this fight, it's just coming down to, like Pat said, who can implement their game. If Ivana can get her down and hold her down, she's going to win the fight on the ground, probably by submission. If Jamie can keep it on the feet, she's probably going to point fight her way to a decision win. So my pick is going to be Jamie Lynn Horth by decision. But if Ivana snatches a sub, I'm not going to be surprised. It's women's MMA. It's a coin flip. So on to the third fight, we got Chad Anheliger versus Cody Gibson. Chad is 2-2 in the UFC. He's 37, which is really old for bantamweight. He has good movement, good stand switching. He's got good feints, pretty good solid power too. He's a Canadian fighter, so of course they had to have him on the card to represent all the Canadians. He's fighting Cody Gibson, who is 2-5 in the UFC. His first run in the UFC was back in 2014, where he went 1-3. This is his second run after, I'm pretty sure, being on the Ultimate Fighter. He's currently 1-2, might be 1-3 again after this fight. He's just one of those tough, gritty guys who gives you a tough fight every time. He has decent hands and all right power. He's just one of those fighters who's good at everything, but not great in like one certain area. So this is a low-level fight between two 37-year-old fighters. Cody's going to be 4 inches taller with a 7-inch reach advantage here. So I think Cody just muscles his way to a win. More than likely by decision, but I could see Chad possibly getting tired later on in this fight, and Cody possibly putting like a volume TKO on him. What do you think?
I'll probably be on the same side. I do like Cody Gibson in this fight. I just think he's able to mix it up well. He's gonna have a 7-inch reach advantage if he just wants to stay out on the outside and pump a jab. I do think, like you said, he's a super average fighter.
Yeah.
Not very good. I think last time we broke him down, you called him a booger.
Booger, yeah, this is a booger.
But on the other side, Chad Anheliger, he is a dog.
Yeah.
He does set a good pace. He has solid striking, solid BJJ, good sweeps. He can sweep and get back to his feet if you do take him down. And if he gets on top, he does have good control on top. I just kind of see this as like a striking match. I think it's going to be majority striking and 7-inch reach advantage, man. I think Cody Gibson can put that to use and ultimately probably just edge out a decision here. I see it probably like a 29-28 decision, probably a real close fight. So I don't love like a -2-1 as a bet, but yeah, I'll pick him to win.
If he, with a 7-inch reach advantage, doesn't win this fight, if it stays on the feet and it is a striking match and he doesn't win with that reach advantage, cut him again.
I will say that Chad Anheliger at +162 might be a good play.
Yeah, he has good feints. He moves good.
Bet wise,
that range is going to be hard for him. Should be hard for him to close in one. But.
Facts. Yeah. In the fourth fight, we got Serhiy Sidey versus Garret Armfield. Serhiy Sidey 0-1 in the UFC. Actually, fought Roman Tavares, who he knocked out on a Contender Series, and ended letting Ramon get his lick back in a super close fight. Lost a split decision in that fight. Garret Armfield 2-2 in the UFC, has faced some decent competition. Yeah. We saw him get that win against Brackatana in a close fight.
It was a dog fight.
And we saw Brackatana got that dog in him, man. We just saw on the last card. Garret Armfield does attack the legs well, has a good jab, decent power on the feet. On the other side, I think Sidey's going to be the better striker at range. He is going to hold a 2-inch reach advantage. He uses his jab well as well. Good pressure. He'll walk forward. He can be taken down, but I don't think Garret Armfield really implements a lot of takedowns.
He does if he needs to.
If he needs to.
If he can outstrike somebody, he'd much rather just stay on the feet.
Facts. I think it'll be in his best interest to shoot some takedowns in this fight, because I do think Sidey's going to be the better striker. And Serhiy Sidey is susceptible to getting his legs ate up as well, which Garret Armfield does. I want to pick Garret Armfield in this fight. I feel like he has the more experience. And that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my first dog shot of the card. I'm going to go Garret Armfield at +136. I think he's been in there with better guys. I think he uses UFC experience. I think he can attack the leg kicks, pump that jab, and potentially mix in some wrestling, because I do think that he's going to want to do that in this fight, because Sidey is a dangerous striker. So, give me Garret Armfield at +136. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with a lot of stuff that Pat said. Sidey, he won that fight on the Contender Series, which was a knockout, but it was an early stoppage, and that's why Dana rebooked it on their first fight. Where that fight was close, that debut, it was close, back and forth. I went back and watched it today. They were both rocking each other, and it was just one of those crazy fights. He's got good straight punches, good power. He mixes up his strikes well with good power kicks, but he can be chin and he can be rocked. He got dropped with a body shot in that last fight and got wobbled like 4 or 5 times. But to give him credit, he stayed in there. And when he got
And
wobbled,
you talking about Sidey, right?
yeah.
And also to give him credit, Tavares is a stupid good
Oh
boxer.
my god, insane!
And
He had
stupid good in the
crazy
pocket.
combos, good
Yeah.
power, and it was lighting Sidey up and just fucking he was staying in there. But like Pat said, Garret 2-2 in the UFC, short stocky wrestler, has good power in his hands. Also, he has good cardio, but it's not the best. He is a grinder and loves to wrestle when he has that advantage or when he knows he can take them down and have his way with them. Um, he does get outstruck though if he can't take his opponents down. Like if he's shooting, it's because he's getting outstruck. And if he can't get his opponent down when he's getting outstruck, it's bad news for him because he starts to panic. This fight's a coin flip to me, honestly. I think Garret has the wrestling advantage and the strength, but Sidey is better on the feet with better power in his hands. I think Sidey can stuff the takedowns and end up piecing up Garret. Garret gave up in his last fight, and I don't like seeing that. So give me Sidey. He went to war his last fight, so I know at the very least he's going to have that dog in him, and he's not going to give up no matter how many times you rock him. So give me Sidey by I'm gonna say by KO, but if not by KO, I could see just a war of them going back and forth and him winning a decision. So in this next fight, we got Alexandr Romanov and Rodrigo Nascimento. Alexandr Romanov 6-3 in the UFC. He's a big fat wrestler who has zero cardio. When he came into the UFC, he was a wrecking machine, just ragged on everybody, running through him quick, getting first round submissions. But once he got to competition that had good takedown defense, he was fucked. It showed that he had zero cardio, and if he couldn't take you down, he had no backup plan because his hands are not where they need to be in the UFC. He's the scariest fighter in the UFC for 4 minutes, but if you can survive that 4 minutes, you're almost guaranteed to win. Rodrigo is 4-2 in the UFC. He's a massive Brazilian with really good grappling and a submission game too. He subbed Dontel Mays in his debut, but since then has won his fights by grinding out decisions. He lost his last fight to Derek Lewis, where Derek Lewis came out on his Jorge Masvidal shit and threw a flying knee in the first 5 seconds of the fight and rocked him and just did not recover. But he's slow with low output. He can be boring. This fight, for me, it's easy to pick. Romanov can be dangerous at the start of the fight, but I just don't trust that man. Even though he did have a 15-minute fight with Blagoy Ivanov, that fight was terrible, and they both looked sloppy as hell. I just think Rodrigo can win this fight. I think he can last. I think he can win. So give me Rodrigo by submission or decision. What do you think?
This was another hard one for me to pick, man, because, bro, it's just hard to trust Alexandr Romanov. He's super skillful, man, but it's like you never know if you're going to get the fat slob Alexandr Romanov or if you're going to get
the in shape.
Yeah, the in shape. He actually looked good. I don't know if it was last fight or the fight before that, but he still came out and looked terrible. Like he looked good on the scale, but still came out and performed terrible. Yeah. So he's kind of like
that was his last fight.
I don't know, bro. But that was also against Jailton Almeida.
Yeah, Jailton Almeida.
And Jailton Almeida is a dog, so you can't really. Rodrigo Nascimento is gonna hold the cardio edge in this fight because Romanov's cardio is super suspect. If you can just set a pace on him, then he's gonna die like halfway into the first round. Yeah. Early second round. Does have good wrestling and averages about 4 takedowns a fight. But it's like if he doesn't get Rodrigo out of there, I do see Rodrigo just outlasting the storm and ultimately either getting him out of there, subbing him, or just edging out a decision. So yeah, I'm pretty much gonna be on the same side. Give me Rodrigo Nascimento at -146.
He also has a 5-inch reach advantage too, so he's going to be able to, if he wants to, pump that jab and try to keep that range.
Facts. In the 6th fight of the night, we got Charles Jourdain, who is 6-7-1 in the UFC, going against Victor Henry. Coin flip fight, coin flip odds. Super hard one to pick. Charles Jourdain, man, he's constantly letting me down. I ain't gonna lie, I was high on him.
Same.
obviously picked against him. I picked against him in his last fight against John Silva, but it's hard to really hold that against him too much because we've seen what John Silva is capable of.
It's a dog.
He does have solid BJJ. Can put you in trouble on the ground. Has a very good sub bag. He has good Muay Thai, like kickboxing on the feet. But I think Victor Henry's going to be the better technical striker in this fight.
He's quick.
I think he's going to be better on the feet. I think he has better kicks. He works the body super well. Jourdain does have a lot of experience in the UFC, but I mean 6 and 7, like you 40%, 45% in the UFC. I mean, not a super good showing so far. Hard to trust. I'm gonna go Victor Henry in this fight. I think he's just gonna be the better kickboxer on the feet. I don't think Charles Jourdain has crazy good wrestling to get Victor down and get some ground game going. So I'm gonna pick the better striker. Give me Victor Henry at -111. And Jourdain is tough. I know he got knocked out in his last fight, but I mean, like I said, that's John Silva. I think Victor just edges out a decision here. What you think?
Yeah. We have a difference of opinion on here because I don't like. I agree that Victor Henry's striking is good. He moves well. He does have very fast hands and he does have some power. But I don't think he's necessarily the better striker. I think, in my opinion, Charles Jourdain is a better striker. I feel like he mixes it up well. Where Victor Henry probably does have more power than him. I just feel like Jourdain mixes it up better and has mixes up his kicks and his hands and the spinning shit and all that. But like Pat said, Charles is 6 and 7 in the UFC, so that record in the UFC looks terrible. There's fights that he's came out where he's supposed to be the stud prospect, and they're giving him a fight that he can win, and he just shits the bed. But he has had some impressive fights also. He's slick. He's a slick kickboxer with all right grappling. He has clean combinations, hard kicks. He's slick with submissions if you shoot on him. Like, he's got a nasty gilly that he can catch you with.
Oh yeah.
He can be taken down and held there though, and he is also chinny. So it's understandable to not trust him. Like Pat said, Victor, he's a stud. 1-1 in the UFC. Also a striker with subpar grappling. Has hard leg and body kicks that he loves to spam. He does have good cardio. He got kicked in the dick. Who was that?
I think it was Javid.
Yeah, Javid Basharat kicked him in the dick, and this man milked it. And it probably did hurt, but this man was rolling around like he legit had his dick cut off in that fight.
Facts. And he was losing, so
yeah, he was losing that fight. I think he saw his way out.
Yeah.
I don't really like when they do that, but I understand it. I mean, it's better to get a no contest than a loss, I guess. But this fight's easy for me to pick. I've always rooted for Jourdain, but if he loses this, I'm done with him. I'm done taking up for him. I'm done picking him just to watch him get choked out or pieced up or knocked out. But I am going to go with him in this fight. The odds are pretty close here. It has him as a slight favorite.
It's a coin flip. -115, Jourdain.
But I think his striking is slightly better, and I think his experience will help him out here. So give me Charles Jourdain by decision or submission if we get in a situation where he stuns Victor and Victor maybe tries to shoot, a sloppy little double leg or something. But yeah, give me Charles. So the next fight, we got Ariane Lipski and Jasmine Jasdavicius. So Ariane Lipski is 6 and 6 in the UFC. She has a Muay Thai striking base with a little bit of jiu-jitsu too. She has decent cardio and volume, but typically loses to people that are better, that have a better ground game than her, and girls with more power. Jasmine is 5 and 2 in the UFC and is going to be the hometown fighter in this matchup. She's a well-rounded fighter with decent striking, good grappling. She's not really dominant anywhere, but she does have heart, and she never gives up. So that alone kind of just makes her well-rounded everywhere because she's never going to give up on herself in a position. She strategizes well and fights to her opponent's weakness. So if they're weak on the ground, she's going to try to take the fight to the ground. If they don't have good striking, she's going to try to turn it into a kickboxing match. I'm not wasting time on this. I know it's a coin flip anyways. I'm riding with Jasmine Jasdavicius. I think she's just more well-rounded. I think she's going to be fighting with more motivation where she's in Canada, and I think she's probably going to grind out a decision win. What do you think?
Yeah. Man, don't sleep on Ariana though. I am gonna be on the same side because I do kind of like Jasmine Jasudavicius style. Man, she's just super physical
Yeah.
for the division. She's gonna walk forward. She's gonna put it in your face. She's got good wrestling. But Ariana Lipski has been improving.
Yeah.
She's gotten a lot better. She can get taken down, but she's been working on that takedown defense, and it's been showing. And she's almost, I think, 90%, 95% gonna be the better striker in this matchup.
She's gonna be faster for sure.
She's gonna be the better striker on the feet. And Jazz can walk straight into punches.
Yeah.
But she just pressures forward. She walks. She gets in your face. She's gonna implement that wrestling style. She's gonna do it for 3 rounds.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna pick against Jasmine, Jasudavicius in this fight. At 2-1, I don't love it. Maybe a decision play, but if I'm betting a money line side on this fight, it will be a bet on Ariana Lipski. I think she is going to be the more dangerous striker, and bet wise, I think she's gonna. I think she's gonna cover her price. If Jazz wins, I think it's going to be probably a close 29-28 gritty decision. So in that type of fight, man, look out for them dogs.
So you're saying play the plus 3.5 on DraftKings if
potentially, yep. That'd probably be a great bet, honestly. Yeah, what we got next? We got Aiemann Zahabi, 5-2 in the UFC against Pedro Munhoz. At -140, Aiemann Zahabi sitting at +110. This is a solid little matchup right here. They're trying to get a rank on Zahabi now after that Javid win. Zahabi super good on the feet, super defensive, like defensively sound on the feet. Doesn't really make a lot of mistakes. Kind of sits back at range. Doesn't throw a lot of volume. Is going to hold a 3-inch reach advantage in this fight. Pedro Munhoz on the other side. He's fought the who's who in this division. I mean, he has a lot of experience. 10-9 in the UFC. Not the best record, but I mean, he's fought some dogs. He's going to hold the volume edge in this fight. He's going to throw a lot more strikes here. But I'm going to pick Aiemann Zahabi in this fight. I think he's going to land the cleaner strikes on the feet. Potentially get outstruck, but kind of like maybe like a Chito Vera, Pedro Munhoz situation. How Pedro was kind of outvoluming Chito, but Chito was landing the harder shots and was winning the moments. Pedro's probably gonna win the minutes in this fight, but I see Zahabi just having a better moment. So, give me Aiemann Zahabi, and I'm gonna say he wins the decision.
Yeah, Aiemann Zahabi, if you guys don't know, is the brother of Firas Zahabi, who is GSP's one of GSP's main coaches. So he's got good fight IQ, and that's one thing that I feel like is a big advantage. In
hard to bet against.
Career period is the fact that he's got such great minds that have brought him up in his game. He is 36 though, but you look at his record, 11-2. You think, oh, he's just starting out, but this man has been fighting in the UFC. I'm pretty sure since like 2014 or 2015, but is super inactive. It was just recently back in 2022 that he started taking fights again and being more active. He's a crisp and fluid striker with an impressive ground game too. He has knockout power, but likes to throw volume combinations. He beat Javid Basharat, who's a really good prospect. Pedro, like Pat said, 10-9 in the UFC, or maybe the other way around, 9-10.
Yep.
He comes from a grappling background, but has improved his striking over the years. He has really good leg kicks, hard leg kicks. He has good movement. He is only 5'6" with a 65-inch reach, but he has way more experience. And like Pat said, he has fought the tougher competition. This fight is close. The experience and the grappling favor Pedro, but the striking, cardio, and fight IQ favors Zahabi. He's also going to be 2 inches taller with a 3.5-inch reach advantage. So I think Zahabi pop shots his way to a decision win here. With the reach, a good jab, he has good kicks, good fight IQ, a good corner behind him. I can't pass up on Zahabi here.
Especially
plus 110.
Especially at dog money.
Yeah, plus 110. Pedro he just hasn't really looked all that great. He hasn't impressed me recently in his fights. So yeah, give me Aiemann Zahabi here. also.
Yes, sir. Hey, we aligning on the dog, man.
We got it.
You love to see it.
We don't do that often either. We don't.
I know. Usually we on one side or the other when it comes to the underdogs.
Do, like Jesus Aguilar, I'm pretty sure on that.
At plus 170 too. We call that a plus 170.
Next fight of the night, we got Mike Malott and Trevor Giles. And I'm pretty sure, is this the main card opener?
I do believe so.
So if you guys haven't already, please go like the video for us. Comment down who you like on this scrub ass card. Subscribe if you haven't already. The support just lets us know you guys are fucking with the picks. Yeah. We got Mike Malott, Treven Giles. Mike Malott is 3-1 in the UFC, coming off his first loss in the UFC, where he beat the fuck out of Neil Magny for 14 minutes and then gassed terribly. Like, this man died in the octagon, and Neil Magny just jumped on top of him and ground and pounded his way to a win with 30 seconds left.
Dude couldn't even hug his way to it, like nothing to the final bell and nothing. He literally just died.
He just laid there like, please hit me, please. But Mike Malott, he has good boxing, good power in his hands. He has good takedown defense. He seemed super tough with a good chin until he tanked. But now that chin's a little questionable, and that tank is too. But he's fighting Treven Giles, who is 7-6 in the UFC. He got his start at 185, where he struggled to find success, moved down to 170, and has lost to two killers back-to-back in Carlos Prates and Gabriel Bonfim. He has a good boxing base, but he has worked in a wrestling game as well. He's not really, I don't really have much to say about him good-wise, other than he's just fought way like tougher competition than Malott. My pick is easy on this. I think they're just giving Mike Malott this fight as an easy bounce-back fight to kind of get a win back under his belt in front of the home crowd, try to build his hype back up. Treven Giles does have good counter punches, like a good counter hook, so he could catch Mike, but give me Mike. I'm going to say Mike Malott by knockout. What do you think?
I'm going to be on the same side, man. Honestly, think about it like this. If Mike Malott wins that Neil Magny fight, he getting the top 15. He's not fighting no Treven Giles. They giving him a layup here, trying to get him back in that win column, because he is a solid prospect. I mean, he's a good fighter. He's gonna have the wrestling edge in this fight. He's got super powerful hands. I mean, all around, he is a really good fighter. Yeah. That gas tank obviously gave up on him, but that was also against Neil Magny, who's literally known for just kind of outlasting people and being a vet and just outlasting storms. And that wasn't the best look, but I mean, I'll give him a pass there and say he comes back and gets a solid win against Treven Giles, but probably by knockout. But yeah, I'll call Mike Malott. I'll say he knocks him out. All right, next fight, 10th fight of the night. We got Marc-Andre Barriault, 5-7 in the UFC against Dustin Stoltzfus, plus 172, 2-5 in the UFC, minus 225. Why are you laughing when I say Stoltzfus, man?
Stoltzfus is
Stoltzfus, he is a BJJ black belt, man. He's got decent grappling. He is chinny though. Decent striking from range. I mean, in the first round.
Yeah.
Marc-Andre Barriault on the other side, he's gonna have good pressure. He's got super solid cardio. He's gonna set a pace, and I think that's what's gonna win him this fight. I think Stoltzfus will be in the fight early. I think if Marc-Andre Barriault can just outlast that storm, he can eventually probably find a second round, maybe a late first round finish, early second round finish. I think he'll just outdog him and outlast Stoltzfus and just set a pace on his ass. So yeah, give me Marc-Andre Barriault. I'll say second round knockout. What you think?
Yeah, I don't have much more to add, because both these guys are really just kind of journeyman in the UFC.
Yeah.
Mark's just a little better than what Dustin Stoltzfus' career has been. We did see Marc-Andre Barriault get knocked out cold by Joe Pyfer his last time out.
But that's Pyfer.
Joe Pyfer in the first round. But Dustin Stoltzfus is nowhere close to Joe Pyfer. And it's not even really worth breaking down, honestly. Marc-Andre Barriault is going to have the power advantage. He's going to have the striking advantage. Dustin is slick on the ground. Like Pat said, he's a black belt, so he can get a quick little sub. But it's mostly against trash cans. Like, he's not, when he's fighting anybody with just a a shred of talent, he's getting finished. So keeping it short and sweet, give me Marc-Andre Barriault. I'm gonna say by first round knockout, but if Dustin can survive, then he's definitely getting knocked out in the second round. So on to the next fight, we got Caio Machado versus Brinson Ribeiro. Caio is 0-2 in the UFC, 8-3-1 overall. He won his Contender Series fight and to get his debut against Mick Parkin, where he lost a decision. After losing to Mick Parkin, he fought Dontel Mays and lost to him and decided, you know what, heavyweight ain't for me. I'm going to drop down to 205. He's a big Brazilian power puncher with one-punch power. He also has a couple submission wins under his belt, too. Brinson is also 0-2 in the UFC. He won on the Contender Series by knockout and got flatlined in his debut by Mingyang Zhang, who's just a huge man. Like, that guy's massive with big power. He lost the decision his next fight where his cardio looked terrible. He does have 9 wins by knockout and 6 wins by sub, though, so he's definitely a dangerous fighter. But this fight is super low level. I don't even know why it's on the main card, to be honest with you, because neither of them are Canadian. It really feels like a coin flip to me. I feel like Ribeiro is going to be more well-rounded, but he is more chinny. And I don't know how Caio is going to look coming down to heavyweight, how that weight cut's going to be for him. He was weighing in at like 250 at heavyweight. So really it's a coin flip. I just don't see Brinson being able to take Caio down, and I just think Caio's going to find his chin with that big heavyweight power. So give me Caio by KO. Cut the loser of this fight. We don't need him in the UFC. So what do you think?
Yeah, I actually think Caio is the better all around fighter. I think Brinson is super dangerous.
Yeah.
And he's got super heavy hands. He's gonna be aggressive. He's gonna walk forward, but he's not defensive at all. I mean, he just swings. He wings shots. I feel like Caio is way more technical, way more grounded, and he can mix it up on Brinson. Get some wrestling going as well. Cage push. I think he's gonna be the more technical striker as well. The more polished striker, and yeah, I think he's gonna win this fight. Honestly, I like is if he stays out of trouble, man. I think that -164 is gonna look like like value, but Brinson is super dangerous though. So and he can bonk the hell out of you. So
yeah, 9 knockouts and
stay safe, and I think Caio should win this fight pretty handily. So yeah, give me Caio.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the 12th fight, we got Derek Lewis, 19-10, the Black Beast, sitting at an underdog price, +136 against Jonata Deniz. This is his 3rd fight in the UFC, coming off that decision win over Carl Williams.
Yep.
So he showed he can defend some takedowns. Obviously shows he's a good technical kickboxer. He's dangerous on the feet. They obviously see something in him because they're fast tracking him.
Yeah.
Here
Derek Lewis,
straight to Derek Lewis in your 3rd fight. They're trying to get a ranking. I do think Derek's still ranked in the.
I think he's number 10.
Yeah, they trying to get him in that top 10. Start getting some new blood in that heavyweight division. Like I said, these are 2 super dangerous heavyweights. I mean, either of them can land a big shot, and this fight's gonna be over. But I think Jonata Deniz is just better technically, and he's going to be a more technically sound fighter. I think he's going to be more defensive. And I think that he could potentially outpoint Derek Lewis or, like I said, find a big shot and bonk Derek Lewis. But, man, you gotta stay safe from that Derek Lewis power. But if he does that, I think he can win this fight. So, yeah, give me Jonata Deniz at -174.
Yeah, might as well just throw this up on the board as another split decision because I mean I agree with Pat on
experiences,
the technical wise and all that. You know, Jonata Deniz is probably going to be the better fighter, and even career longevity wise, who knows? He might go on to have a better career, which is it's going to be hard to do because Derek Lewis, the knockout king, you know, like that's.
Facts. I mean, 19-10 in the UFC.
Yeah,
that's 29.
I'm pretty sure all those are knockouts too.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So. But actually, let me see real quick. Yeah, he's got 23 knockouts overall.
Ridiculous.
Insane. But when it comes down to it, Derek Lewis, we all know him. He's knockout or bust, really. He's had a few fights go deep where he knocked out Alexander Volkov in the third round, where he was getting his ass beat that whole fight. When it comes down to it, when Derek loses, it is to the top of the division. Gelton Almeida, Sergey Spivak, Sergey Pavlovich, Tatu Ivasa, Cyril Gahn. Like, he's not losing to scrubs. And when he is fighting these prospects, he's winning. Marcos Rogerio de Lima, Rodrigo Nascimento, who he just caught with that flying knee his last fight. So for me, I'm going to have to take Derek Lewis at dog money because I just really feel like when it comes down to it, his experience will help him in this fight because he's been there, done that. He's fought the who's who. He's fought for the belt at heavyweight. He's knocked out big, wrestlers like Curtis Blades. He's knocked out strikers. He's seen it all. He's done it all. I feel like Jonathan Deniz is going to get a little brave because he's going to touch Derek and maybe think that he has him more hurt than what he is. I think he's going to blitz in, and Derek's going to catch him with something big. So give me Derek Lewis. I'm going to say second round knockout because I feel like that first round is going to be a filling out process for him. I feel like the second round they're going to be more comfortable, but I wouldn't be shocked to see a first round knockout either. So on to the co-main event of the evening. We got Rose Namajunas versus Erin Blanchfield. And this is the tale as old as time, the striker versus the wrestler. Rose Namajunas is a dog. She used to be the strawweight champion of the world. She has since moved up to flyweight. She's fought the who's who. She's been around for a while. I think she 11-5 in the UFC. Her last fight, Tracy Cortez, 5-round fight, where she just showed there's levels to the game. Tracy Cortez had all that hype coming up. The young prospect, the pretty girl who can strike and grapple, who has submission game, striking game, and Rose showed her like, no, I'm still here. Like, I'm still Rose Namajunas. I'm still championship level fighter, and now she's making her run at flyweight. Erin Blanchfield on the other side, 25 years old. She's a negative 125 favorite. That's what she is. She's on a streak right now. She did lose to Manafaro. She was on a streak before losing to Manafaro.
She got her ass beat by Manafaro.
I thought that fight was close, but it wasn't. Was that the 5-round?
Yeah, I believe that was the 5-rounder.
I thought she started out good. I could be misremembering. But when it comes down to it, Erin Blanchfield loves to wrestle. That's Erin Nurmagomedov. Her game plan is simple. She wants to shoot. She wants to take you down. She wants to try to maul you, hold you down, either get a submission or just, bully you for however long the fight is and try to win that decision. When it comes down to it, though, I feel like her last fight did expose the fact that if she can't take you down, she's lost on the feet. And Rose Namajunas is one of the best strikers in women's UFC history. What does worry me is that Carla Esparza fight. She was so worried about the takedowns that she was very timid. That she didn't want to sit down on any punches or really let anything go because she was worried about those takedowns. This one's tough, but I am going to take Rose at dog money here because I feel like she's going to move well enough to be able to stick and move. But Erin's tough and she is dangerous. So if she does get a hold of Rose, I feel like Rose is in for a long night. But give me Rose by decision. What do you think?
Yeah, man. Come on, bro. I'm not picking against my girl Rose, man. I named my dog after Rose, man.
Yeah.
Don't make me tell y'all this a second time. 2-time UFC champion. Rose Namajunas against Erin Blanchfield. Don't get me wrong. Erin is very good at jiu-jitsu. I think her wrestling is ass, bro. I don't think she's gonna wrestle fuck Rose. And Rose ain't no slouch on the ground either.
No, she's not.
She can get and she can get back up. Obviously, she had trouble against Carla Esparza back in the day, and I understand what you're saying as far as their last matchup, the most boring UFC fight that anyone has ever seen. The styles kind of collided and they did nothing at all.
Rose was so scared. It seemed like she was so scared of being taken down.
And I understand it, but Carla Esparza's wrestling is way better than Erin Blanchfield's wrestling too.
Yeah.
Erin Blanchfield, if she gets you on the ground, you gonna deal with some shit because her jiu-jitsu is second to none. but you're gonna have to get it there first. And every second this fight is on the feet,
she's strong.
Aaron Blanchfield gonna get that face beat up.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna take the way more elite striker in this matchup. I think a 5-round fight benefits Rose as well. So yeah, I'm gonna go Rose.
I didn't even realize
5-round fight.
2 cards in a row. I didn't realize the co-main's 5 rounds. Oh yeah, that's definitely Rose. Then Aaron's gonna struggle in those later rounds. Rose might even be able to find a finish in there. Honestly.
Potentially,
a tired Aaron.
Yeah, potentially, because she's gonna tire herself out trying to fucking wrestle. Fuck Rose, and I really don't think she's just gonna dog her.
Shooting desperate, Rose could probably catch a neck or something.
Potentially, a fucking mean head kick or some shit.
Like knee up the middle.
Yeah, knee up the middle. So yeah, give me Rose, man, and yeah, that's a pretty confident pick. I love Rose at dog money here for real. I think people are sleeping on her. I think Rose can make another run. I know that sounds crazy, but I really do think she can find herself in another title fight. I think if she wins this fight, we might see her in another title fight.
Oh yeah, for sure. With the name.
This might be a title eliminator.
It could be. Could very well be.
But yeah, give me Rose Namajunas as a plus 104.
Main event time.
Main event, man. Solid main event. Please, y'all, make sure to go like, subscribe, and comment on the video. We got Brandon Moreno minus 164 against Amir Albazi at plus 128. I think this is a binary matchup, man. Brandon Moreno, obviously, I think is going to be the better striker.
Hey, don't sleep on his jiu-jitsu game, too. He does 11 submissions.
No, facts. But I think Amir Albazi is going to be better on the ground.
Wait, he's a dominant wrestler.
He's a super dominant wrestler.
Lost.
And he's super good at controlling the positions on the ground as well.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people think he lost that Kai Kara France fight.
I think he lost it.
I thought it was close enough. It probably could have went either way. I don't necessarily think it was a robbery, how everybody says, but I understand the speculations people have made about that fight. Moreno, I feel like, who did he fight in his last fight? Because I swear he looked like a shell.
Brandon Royval.
He looked like a shell of himself.
Yeah, Brandon Royval. He was in Mexico City, where it was like real high elevation and shit. Like, I think he didn't take it serious.
I was about to say he didn't look like the Brandon Moreno.
Brandon Royval trains in Denver, where he trains at 4,500 feet.
He just paced his ass.
Mexico City it's like 6,000 or 7,000. So I think it was Brandon Royval just having way better cardio than Brandon Moreno.
Facts.
Which is wild because Brandon's a Mexican. He was supposed to be the guy in that fight.
Facts. Amir Albazi, man, super inactive, bro. Like, that's really, I want to take him at dog money, like, really.
Oh, I didn't even realize he was the dog.
Yeah, plus 128. It really scares me though because of the inactivity. And Brandon Moreno, man. I mean, 2-time UFC champion. I mean, he's fought the who's who. Super solid all around. It's honestly, this is a super hard pick for me to make, but I gotta make one for the sake of the show. So I'm going to pick Amir Albazi to get this fight. I think he's just going to have his way in the wrestling. Maybe not all the time, but just enough in a few rounds to maybe win the rounds, especially probably the early rounds. He does fade late, if I remember correctly.
He does.
Those takedowns ain't going to come as easy, but I do see him doing enough potentially in the first few rounds to get him on the scorecards and potentially just survive late against Moreno. Not a super confident pick at all. But yeah, I'm gonna go Amir Albazi, man, at dog money. I think he just edges out a super close decision over Brandon Moreno. I know you on the other side too.
I mean, it was a coin flip, really, because I see why you would pick Amir, and I see why you would want to, because that wrestling, I mean, you can never count out one of those dominant wrestlers that just love to blast a double, like a Marab or somebody who seems like once they get their hands on you, you can't break it.
But that's the thing. If they don't get that going, then they kind of like a shell. Like they a fish out of a water.
And Brandon Moreno can be taken down. I mean, fucking Davison Figueiredo was taking him down in their fights. Davison Figueiredo, though, is doing that also at bantamweight. So obviously, he's just a good grappler. But like Pat said, Amir 17-1. He's just one of those dominant wrestler types. It just seems like he has that gas tank to keep going and keep going. that Kai France fight was close. I thought Kai won damage-based scoring, in my opinion. If it's damage-based and you look at Amir in that fight and you look at Kai didn't even look like he was in a fight. Amir just had way more control time and was just holding on to him pretty much, holding him against the fence, taking him down, kind of getting that top control. But I feel like Kai just fucked him up in that fight. Brandon Moreno on the other side, former champ. This man just is the epitome of volume. He's just constantly putting shit out there. Clean boxing. Really looks like a boxer when he's out there. Like in his stance, in the way he rolls the shoulders and moves. But his stance can be heavy, and that's just welcoming a wrestler to blast a double or a single one. And when he's got all his weight on that lead leg.
He likes to throw them leg kicks too. Yeah. I can see Amir potentially catching a leg and finding his takedowns like that.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to go look. I've been moving all day, so I didn't get to do as many notes as I like to do. But I'm pretty sure Brandon Moreno has 11 submission wins. So he, like I said, he's not lost on the ground. Like he can hold his own there. He did sub Davison Figueiredo in one of those title fights. 11 wins by submission, 5 by knockouts. Long story short, I'm going to go with the experience of Brandon Moreno. I am going to go with him. Also checked, you guys probably can't see it, elevation in Edmonton, 2,100 feet. So we don't got to worry about Brandon Moreno gassing out here. I feel like his movement is well. But if Albazi can get his hands on him, I feel like Albazi is just going to lay and pray, hold him down. I feel like damage-wise, he's not going to get off a lot because he does have a little bit of ground and pound, but it's not like he's brutal with it. He's more worried about holding you there and keeping you there than really doing anything that could let you get up. But let's end the card on a split decision. I don't know how many we got on this card total, but add one more to
14. Oh, you talking about split decisions?
Split decision on the
card.
Like
3.
I think we got 3 or 4.
That's like our third one or something.
Yeah. But Brandon Moreno, give me Brandon Moreno. I'm going to say more than likely by decision, but I wouldn't be shocked if Brandon Moreno gets him in like a TKO situation where he's kind of ground and pounding, or maybe Amir Albazi shooting a desperate takedown and Brandon Moreno blasts the knee up the middle,
or just like gets tired later in them championship rounds and get some volume put on him or something. I could see that as well. But I really do think it's gonna be a super close fight.
It's probably gonna be a split decision if we're being honest. I could see this fight.
Almost like that Kai France fight where it's gonna be like a damage versus control type of fight, like. Like some of these rounds are going to be split up due to like Amir getting 3 minutes of control time and then Brandon finding his way up and getting the damage off, and it's going to be like split up on the cards. So super close fight, but we're going to end it on a split decision. And I just wanted to note, man, speaking of Kai France, bro, they doing my boy dirty, not giving him the next title shot, bro. After that Steve Erceg knockout, they're going to bring in somebody from a whole nother division and let them debut against Pantoja, Caio Sakura.
And when Dana was asked about it, he said, because the guy's a motherfucker. That's all Dana said. When they asked him, why is this guy getting a shot coming in on his debut? Because he's a motherfucker.
But in all reality, I think they're just tired of filtering the same guys through the top. That top 5 keeps filtering. Like Brandon Royval, Brandon Moreno, Pantoja. They've all fought each other like 3 times.
Just fucking keep going.
So they're like, let me get the baddest dude in this organization.
I think that's why they're pushing out Albazi too.
Exactly.
Like giving him that shot. Yep. Now he's ranked number whatever it is, 5 or number 3, and he's fighting number 2 or something.
But really, what I think they was trying to do is by bringing Caio Sakura over, letting him fight Pantoja, setting up that Tatsuro Royval fight. I think Dana really wanted Tatsuro to win that fight, Caio Sakura to take the belt, and then get a Japan versus Japan
sell it big over
mega
there.
fight. That would have been crazy.
Yeah, that would have been wild.
But it didn't work out for him because at the end of the day, you can set up all the matches you want, but these guys still got to go in there and fight it out. So. Yeah, pretty decent card, man. It's some decent matchups. Not a lot of super crazy name value or nothing, but I think we'll get a good result.
Coming off of 308, this card's definitely lackluster. But
it's gonna be hard to match that.
Exciting matchups in it
for sure. But yeah, man, we appreciate y'all stepping in and listening to the picks. And this is episode 15 of the Split Decisions podcast.
I think we have one more fight night card after this,
and then we got John Jones versus Stipe, man, Oliveira versus Michael Chandler too. That's gonna be a banger card. So
Fireworks.
yeah, man, we just gotta get through this. One more fight night, and then we're back for another
Back to the
pay-per-view.
pay-per-view.
So yeah, man, we appreciate y'all stepping in. This has been the 15th episode of the Split Decisions podcast. I'm Patrick,
And I'm Justin.
and yeah, man, y'all enjoy the fights.